As the sun sets over the small coastal town of Oakhaven, the last rays of light do a final sweep across the beach, illuminating something unusual at the water's edge. A weathered, old journal, barely clinging to the remnants of a tattered map. It was as if the very essence of the sea, wind and time itself had conspired to shroud this discovery in mystery. For Thomas Blackwood, the town's lighthouse keeper, it was just another ordinary evening. That was until his gaze fell upon that journal. Now, nearing his retirement, after a lifetime dedicated to the sea and its secrets, he felt compelled to investigate. The journal lay open to a faded entry, the ink as dark as midnight against the brittle water-stained pages. Its leather cover, once a rich burgundy, was now a canvas of time, bearing silent witness to countless storms and secrets. Each turn of the page brought Thomas closer to unraveling a mystery that had slept for decades. The journal belonged to a woman named Isabella Thorne, who, according to the first entry, had lived in Oakhaven during the early 1900s. Her words painted a vivid picture of life in the town, but it was one particular passage that made Thomas's heart skip a beat. In a shaky hand, Isabella had written about a hidden cove accessible only during the lowest tides, a place where she and her late husband had concealed a treasure. "They've chosen this spot," she wrote, "because it was a location known only to them, a secret they'd take to their grave." But now, decades later, Isabella was gone, and so was her husband. And Oakhaven, with its ever-changing tides, had swallowed their secret along with countless others. Driven by an insatiable curiosity, Thomas resolved to find this cove. He'd always loved the sea, its moods as unpredictable as its depths. But today, the ocean's vastness felt more like a challenge than a comfort. He knew the tides were low, the perfect time to search, but the thought of what might lie beneath the waves, both in the ocean and in the secrets of the past, filled him with a mix of excitement and trepidation. He set out into the twilight, the journal tucked under his arm, its worn pages whispering tales of adventure across the sand. Reaching the spot where the sun dipped into the horizon, he began to search. The soft, yielding sand gave way under his determined steps, each footprint a testament to his unwavering resolve. But as darkness began to blanket the sky, the journal offered no clear guidance, and the elusive cove remained hidden. Just when his hope began to dwindle, a faint glint of light on the horizon caught his eye. Squinting, he saw it again, a tiny sliver of moon reflecting off the water. He dashed towards it, his heart pounding in his chest, and there, nestled between two large rocks, was a small opening in the sand. The tide was out. With bated breath, he stepped into the newly formed cove. The entrance, concealed by towering cliffs, was like a portal to another time, a secret whispered only to the wind and the waves. Inside, the sand was littered with strange, colorful stones and shells, but it was the shape of a buried chest that truly stole his breath away. Carefully brushing away the sand, he uncovered a wooden chest, its surface adorned with intricate carvings. He pried it open, revealing stacks of old, yellowed documents and a small key. Each document was a piece of Oakhaven's forgotten history, a tale of lives lived and dreams cherished. There were marriage certificates, birth records, and even a faded photograph of a young girl standing on the very spot where Thomas stood. As for the key, it seemed to fit none of the locks he tried. Had Isabella and her husband perhaps taken it with them in the end? Or was there another place, another puzzle to solve? Suddenly, Thomas noticed a loose stone near the chest. With gentle persistence, he dislodged it, revealing a small cavity. Inside, nestled against the cool rock, was a key with a unique design. He raced back home, the key clutched tightly in his hand, its weight settling perfectly into the lock of the old lighthouse door. With trembling hands, he opened it and stepped inside. Before him was a spiral staircase bathed in the soft glow of the setting sun. At the top, a single room beckoned, holding what was probably the most precious trove of all. There, displayed on an old wooden table, were the town's original records, deeds and maps dating back to Oakhaven's founding. Among them was a detailed map of the town and its surroundings, but it was one small mark in particular that made Thomas's eyes widen. It was a small, barely discernible X mark in the spot of a hidden cove, and as the last rays of sunlight faded away, Thomas realized that the true treasure of Oakhaven wasn't gold or jewels, but the town's history, its stories, and its people. For it was in these tales, etched in stone and whispered in the wind, that the true spirit of a place resided. With a newfound purpose, he resolved to preserve these secrets, ensuring that they would be told, retold, and cherished for generations to come. After all, it was in the sharing of stories that memories were kept alive and communities were bound together.